Hello there, everybody! This is Cholera, and I'm joined with Kenny Casting, and we are going to be doing the semifinals, or actually the round of three, I guess, of the Winners League playoffs. Actually, it's not the semifinals. I guess it would be something like the quarterfinals. But anyway, this is Hawatsun Oz versus KTF Magicians. KTF Magicians was ranked 4th, and they beat the 3rd-ranked team at the end of the regular season, which was SKT1 last week. So now they're moving on to fight the 2nd-ranked team, Hawatsun Oz. The winner of this is going to be facing the best-ranked team, CJ Entus, in the finals of the Winners League playoffs. In this first game, we have a Zerg versus Zerg. This guy over here is Hoja. Hoja is going to be sent up to be, well, most likely sacrificed by Jaedong, or sacrificed to Jaedong in the first game here. Jaedong, of course, is the best Zerg versus Zerg player of all time. Hoja is a Zerg player who did do a lot of great good for KTF last week by beating Bisu and Kanata. This is a Winners League format, so the winner will proceed. And I gotta say, Hoja obviously is a Zerg player. I gotta say, this is going to be tough for him to repeat it, but obviously he'll be, he'll be even more famous than he'll just basically be my new favorite player if he can somehow beat Jaedong also this game.
Yeah, well, one thing to note, man, is that Hoja has just been on a roll lately. I have to say I was so impressed with his play last week, and you are right that this is indeed going against Jaedong, the best Zerg vs. Zerg player statistically and just style, really. He's just an amazing Zerg vs. Zerg player. A lot of people would argue that Luxury in practice might be up to the skill level of Jaedong in Zerg vs. Zerg, but really, if you had to say one name between who is the best Zerg vs. Zerg player, almost 99% of people would say Jaedong. And I think this might be a good decision, Hoja has been on a roll. I mean, you got to send someone out to sacrifice to Jaedong, like you said. Jaedong is just a beast, and why not put someone who's on a roll, who's on fire, who's really been kicking a lot of ass lately? So I have to agree with this, at least in some ways. Really, you have to expect to lose in a Zerg vs. Zerg against Jaedong, so why not give it the best shot you got and maybe pull a really magical win out of this and move up? I think that this isn't actually that bad of a decision after all, man. What do you think about that?
Sorry about that. They actually make these decisions without knowing who the other player is from the other team. So actually, I mean, it's just inadvertent that he happened to run into Jaedong. Sometimes the teams save their best players for 2nd or 3rd in the Winners League format, but looks like Oz is going to start off with Jaedong, start off with their strongest player. And the part of the reason why you might want to save your best player is because the other team's doing that, so you don't want to necessarily tire him out by having to wade through players like Hoja and Fire Fist and the bad players. Not that Fire Fist is ever going to play for KTF in the Winners League, but there's definitely different strategies here. And we're playing on the map Andromeda, by the way, an interesting map for Zerg versus Zerg. There is Jaedong at the bottom left. He's in yellow, which means his opponent Hoja is going to be the red Zerg at the upper right. I think Hoja is going to need a build order advantage at the very least to have a chance of beating Jaedong. And Jaedong is so good at coming back even from a build order advantage. So I really think that Hoja needs at least a solid advantage to be able to possibly beat Jaedong.
Well, the one thing about this is these guys are actually in cross positions on Andromeda, and that really means that they are quite a distance away from each other, which could play out to mean that this will come down to more the later game Zerg vs. Zerg, which means that will be more Muta intensive than maybe perhaps a closer 2-player map or something like that would be. Which means that it could be even harder for Hoja. As we all know, Jaedong's got those magical Mutalisks, and they're just so crazy. I mean, even the likes of Flash and all those really amazing players have trouble dealing with Jaedong's Mutalisks. So I think that this could possibly be the worst position that Hoja could have asked for, at least on this map, because Andromeda really is a very large map. And you don't want to try to go late game with Jaedong in a Zerg vs. Zerg. You really don't want to have to play him at all, but you definitely don't want to have to go to a later game Zerg vs. Zerg with this guy, because he will just destroy you with Mutalisk. So be looking for that. I definitely think that Jaedong is going to be I mean, if he does win this match, I think definitely it will be with a large amount of Mutalisks rather than more Ling play, which you see in some of the closer, smaller maps these days.
Looks like Jaedong going for a 12 pool gas here, and the same build from Hoja. Unfortunately for him, if he had gone for a 12 hatch with expansion, he'd be in a very, very comfortable position against Jaedong. 12 hatch just quantitatively, just much better than 12 pool with expansion. But obviously he couldn't have read that. I actually, if I were him, I probably would have gone for a 12 hatch, gone for the maximum economy possible, just because Jaedong, you know, he's probably thinking that he's going to play a middle-of-the-road kind of build because he feels like he doesn't want to get cheesed out. Obviously, Jaedong most likely himself won't go for a 9 pool either on Andromeda. So, but you know, regardless, both players have gone for mirror builds. Looks like Hoja slightly behind on the Ling count, on the Ling timing rather, and looks like probably 3 eggs full of Lings for both players. You know, right now it's going to be pretty mirror build for most of this game. They're going to get most likely they're going to get Lair with their first 100 gas, and yes, we are seeing Lair from Hoja, and probably from Jaedong in a second. And you know, it really is going to come down to a little bit of tactics. Actually, no, Jaedong going for speed first, so that's a little bit surprising. That might give Hoja a slight advantage if Hoja can hold off these early Ling pressure from Jaedong.
It could be, but another thing to mention is Jaedong knows that this map is a very large map, and he's probably already scouted and realized that Hoja is in the cross position from him. And Jaedong, being just such a great timing player, really knows when he needs something, and so he'll cut back just the smallest amount of drones, whatever he may be trying to build, just to get a small advantage, because he knows, hey, if my layer is up an extra, or, you know, 10-15 seconds late, that's not going to matter in the grand scheme of things, because his Mutalisks aren't going to be over here by the time mine are popping. So really, that's probably what's going through his mind in this type of a situation. As you can see, Hoja building quite a few Lings, probably expecting something odd from Jaedong, and actually, Jaedong sneaking a Ling by, since he sees exactly what's going on now.
Wow.
And he's going to be able to run this around constantly as this goes on, and really watch for timing. And now Jaedong bringing some of his own Lings up and attacking the hatchery, and I gotta say, he doesn't have as many as Hoja, and he doesn't have the speed. At least it doesn't look like it right now. I really can't tell, to be honest. Actually, it might have speed now, so really, this is interesting play, and Jaedong now knows exactly what's going on, so I think he's going to be able to react just in time to be able to defend against these mutas coming from Hoja.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the timing is not going to be that significant, about 20 seconds or so, as you said. You know, and the thing is, right there, just Jaedong's Ling sneaking in is a sign that of really weakness from Hoja. I was very surprised that was allowed to happen, and I think the commentators or the observer might be showing us that Jaedong might have a drone or two extra from Hoja. Although one of his drones is not mining, that could actually play that could be a big deal in this game. I mean, you can't have a not mining drone in Zerg versus Zerg. That's an equivalent of a dead drone. But anyway, looks like Hoja moving into the middle now. He's thinking about getting a little bit aggressive here, and you know, it's going to come down to a big Ling position battle, and there's nobody better than that, better in doing that than Jaedong is. You know, Hoja, we'll also see whether he's going to go for Scourge or Mutalisks first. You know, sometimes players go for an anti-Overlord campaign, you know, to start off with, but I don't think he's going to do that. Most likely it is going to be straight up Mutas, but then he's going to have to face Jaedong's Scourge and Mutas. I mean, it's just a hard road for him. Finally, Jaedong is mining now.
Yeah, for a second there, it looked like Jaedong was down quite a few Lings. Hoja going very Ling intensive, and now bringing out the Scourge, so
yeah.
He's probably going to try to delay those Overlords. So really what he's going to maybe do is try to delay those Overlords so that Jaedong can't get his Mute out in time, and that is a lot of Zerglings, and it might be enough to push up Jaedong's into his natural and up his ramp. I really don't know. It looks like he has more than Jaedong does, and Jaedong losing those early two Overlords really could make the difference, and it looks like they might clash here. Oh, but we do see some Mutas getting out for Jaedong just in time, so he might be, or he should be able to defend this now. And here goes a massive Ling battle, and some Scourge micro going on there as well. Jaedong taking one hit, but able to kill two of the Scourge, but losing one Mutalist there, and now a few Lings sneaking by, going into the main, and this can really cause a lot of devastation. Oh, tons of Lings going by for Hoja, and the Mutas are close behind, but I think he's going to lose a lot of drones during this. This could be very bad for Jaedong. Jaedong's going to have to micro these drones very carefully with the Mutas. He's drone drilling the Lings as he goes, but he's losing quite a few of his drones, which really plays a huge part in Zerg vs. Zerg. Now getting a decent amount of mutas out, so he might be able to go and harass Hoja and try to even up the score in terms of drones, but seeing that he just lost 2 to 3 drones could really put him significantly far behind in terms of this game. I'm really impressed that Hoja was able to sneak by there after that huge attack.
Absolutely great decision making by Hoja, breaking off that small force and attacking Jaedong. Jaedong, of course, got his Mutalisks out on time. If he hadn't done that, he would have been in even greater trouble, but of course he got it right before the second Overlord died, I believe, because he was in the red when we saw the camera go over there. But looks like we are going to see a ton of Scourge from Jaedong. That's about 8 Scourge. Hoja needs to have some good Mutalisk micro to fight this off, of course, and you know, he might be, well, he should be ahead in terms of Mutalisks, you know, because all of his gas has really gone to just a couple of Scourge, mainly to Mutalisk, so he's going to have to be able to dodge these Scourge, though. This is very hard to tell right now if he's managed to do it. He's managed to get a number of the Scourge, but I really can't tell who's ahead. Actually, it looks like Hoja is the one who's ahead right now because Jaedong is running, and Hoja now going for another attack, but looks like he's going to run headfirst into another Bear Scourge, so really a running battle here, and I think Hoja might still have the advantage.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell. Looking at the shadows of the 2 Mutalisks, it looked like Hoja had more, but I couldn't tell. And now sneaking more Lings by, and this could be even more devastation to the economy that's already been touched of Jaedong. And if Hoja is able to do a little bit more damage here, which it looks like he might get another drone, no, he does not. So some good micro there by Jaedong, not losing any of his drones, but if he does lose any more, this could be extremely bad for him. It's very hard to tell who has more Mutalisk numbers because they do stack them, obviously, to the best of their micro ability, but it looks very, very close at this point. I really honestly can't tell who has more Mutalisks, but I do know that Hoja has a little bit more of a solid economy as he hasn't lost anything really where Jaedong has. So this is going to come down to some extreme micro skills and some more Lings pouring into the base of Jaedong, and this is starting to look bad. If these Lings get back in here, more drones could die, and that is not good for Jaedong at all. Some more sneaking into the main. Oh my god, the fangirls are just stunned at what's going on right now. Jaedong is really just fighting for his life while he masses up a ton of Mutalisks to hopefully make an attack on Hoja.
Wow, I mean, this is showing how good Jaedong is, the fact that he's still in this, and oh man, Hoja, despite the good decision-making, doesn't have the anti-Scourge micro. That is a real shame because, he should have finished this game off, to be honest. By now, he should have more Mutalisks, more Lings, and, you know, the thing is, he wasn't able to back up his attack with a combined air and ground attack with both Lings and Mutalisks because he was afraid of the Scourge. He was constantly having to deal with Scourge. And it looks like Jaedong somehow has amassed a greater Mutalisk force. That Mutalisk has 11 kills, mainly Lings, but still, that's ridiculous. Jaedong probably has not lost, you know, probably has lost only 1 or 2 Mutalisks. Hoja has lost many more than that, so Jaedong still has a chance if he can do air damage right now, sufficient air damage to Hoja. And Hoja looks like he's going to try to use some Scourge there. Wow, even look at that. 1 Scourge from Hoja goes, 2 Scourge from Hoja go down, 1 from Jaedong. Jaedong continuing to land Scourge and continue to bring Scourge up.
Oh my god, man, I can't believe it. I think he's going to be able to kill Hoja here. Hoja is looking very thin in terms of muta numbers. 1 to like 11 of Jaedong. It looks like that's a full control group almost. And I can't believe it. This game is over. Jaedong has pulled it off again. GG from Hoja. Holy crap. Jaedong is just amazing at this matchup. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I mean... We could attribute this partially to small little things like the fact he was mining gas at his natural expansion a little bit longer than Hoja. We could attribute to, you know, Hoja threw away a couple of Lings, but the main thing to say is he won because he is Jaedong. I mean, that was quite a comeback after losing a number of Lings. I bet the KTF team is that Zergbong? Why are you on this team, Zergbong? Man, Zergbong, I just shake my head whenever I see him. Why are you around? He's a captain of KTF. He's probably like, oh man, you did alright. And Hoja's probably thinking, I would school you in Zerg versus Zerg. I would school you playing Terran. Anyway, that's my anti-Zergbong rant, because I can't stand the look of that guy. I can't stand seeing him. Jaedong, smiling though, he's going to be moving on to fight this next person, and we're casting this straight through. We're going through all the videos, so we're not going to take a break or anything, but I gotta say, Jaedong, lost at least 3 or 4 drones. At one time you said no drones died, but he did lose another one at the natural expansion when Hoja came in with the second wave, and he still managed to win. I mean, he also had a drone that wasn't mining. So with mirror builds, Jaedong manages to lose a couple of drones and still come back for the win, just showing his absolute dominance in ZVZ, which is a good thing because pretty soon, in I think just a day, he is going to be playing by Hero in the OSL semifinals.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, if there's one thing, you gotta give some credit up to Hoja, man. I mean, very few Zergs can give that intense of a battle against Jaedong. Really, a lot of the time you'll see Jaedong just absolutely running over his opponents. And I don't want to talk too much about that now, but here we go. 4GG on his new team, I believe. And he was traded from, who was he traded from again? He's traded from...
he was from Oz.
Oz, so he's now playing against his own team, and so we have 4GG going up against Jaedong, and this should be interesting, kind of like a baseball game where you trade off your own player, and the next weekend you're playing a best-of-5 series against your old team, and this could be interesting. The crowd is definitely pumping their fists and getting ready for this game. 4GG, I wonder what's going through his head right now. He's got to be a little bit, I don't even know what to say, really. He's got to be a little bit blundered at how he's going to play against his ex-teammate, someone he probably trained with a lot, but this should be a really interesting game. Terran versus Zerg. I mean, not a whole lot else to say. I just think this will be a very interesting game, as these players have probably played so much against each other that they have to use some really odd strategies in order to beat each other, and I think that might be something we'll see in this next game.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like, you know, say you're in the Rangers or something, and, you know, you just got to play the Yankees, and you just lost A-Rod, and now you have to face A-Rod. Like, you know, it's just like Jaedong is of, I mean, Jaedong is of that level where, you know, you don't want to leave his team, and you don't want to have to face him right afterwards. It's really, it's really going to be interesting here, to say the least, how 4GG manages to deal with this. But 4GG, of course, is quite good at beating players he's not supposed to beat. He actually managed to beat Jaedong in the past, and let's not forget, he beat him in an MSL Finals. So, I mean, he clearly is capable of beating Jaedong. He knows Jaedong very well, and, you know, while he doesn't get as much credit as he perhaps deserves from us commentators, mainly because, I don't know, we just don't really talk about him that much. 4GG is a very strong Terran player. He's especially very good at adapting to other players' styles. You know, and the thing is, he's probably thought about Jaedong's game more than anyone else on Oz's, because obviously Jaedong's the biggest threat. So perhaps he's had the time to prepare and be able to beat Jaedong. That's how he managed to beat Flash and Jaedong that MSL a couple seasons ago. And, you know, with the right preparation, 4GG is the kind of player who certainly can pull off a win. However, we didn't mention that they are going to be playing on Medusa. You could tell us why that's not such a great map for Terran against Zerg, right?
Oh yeah, definitely an extremely difficult map for Terran to play on for quite a few reasons, actually. Of course, being against Zerg, those temples, man, just make it such a nuisance to deal with Zerg, especially when they get to that lurker tag. And really, for Mutalisk, it is not a bad map either, as you can dance around all over behind the main and around the... I don't want to call it the natural, but there is a min only, obviously, behind the main, which is really easy to harass as well. But really, the main focus is the temples that are on Medusa, and those are just very, very hard to watch after and defend all the time, because a lot of Zerg players at this high level will focus on those temples as a main strategy point in their games. I'm not saying that's necessarily what Jaedong is going to do, but like I was saying before, it's like if you play against your friend 10 games straight, or you play against them all the time, and you play 10 games straight, and you play that 11th game. Well, there's so many mind games going on at that point, because you know each other's style, you know what you like to do, you know the build orders, so you know how to counter them. And so at that point, it becomes a who can out-trick the other player. And if these guys practice as much as I think they probably did being on the same team, I think we might be seeing some of that this game, especially on Medusa. That could turn out to be very interesting altogether.
Yeah, I mean, 4GG was definitely Oz's best player, and you know, certainly it is very possible that Jaedong spent his time practicing against him, although he could have played against this guy too, Haya. Haya actually has now really come on his own here, but what's going on here? Looks like a fairly early SCV being moved down here. That looks like the 6th or the 7th SCV, so yeah, so this looks like it's going to be an 8 racks here, most likely. And instead of showing what's going on, we're going to see a sign that I can't read. Nope, it's a supply depot. All right, so I guess the timing of moving that SCV is such that you want to move it fairly early. And here we're seeing actually a drone scout from Jaedong. Jaedong wants to play it very carefully, evidently. Drone scouting on a 3-player map, but it might not be a bad idea because 4GG can definitely cheese. I've seen him do that before. And, you know, he wants to play careful because he knows this is a Zerg favorite map, so 4GG might try something desperate, or, you know, try something, you know, a fast game, just to prevent this from going into a situation that he can't win in the mid-game if Jaedong takes the map. And looks like, yeah, Jaedong is going to go for a 12 hatch here. I guess he explored enough of the map with his drone that he's confident to go 12 hatch.
Yeah, well, really, I think at this point, I mean, a lot of the time when Terrans do go out to put the supply depot in the position he did, that usually means, that they want to block. And when a lot of Terrans block, they either go for one of two strategies. They're going for an early command center, or they're going for a mech build. And on this map, a mech build is not necessarily a bad decision, as you can turn the temples in your favor on a mech build, but it is an early command center, actually. So that is what we're going to see.
14 CC, flash build.
Very early.
That's why they're showing flash, yeah.
Yeah, flash build there. So this could be interesting, and actually it's not a bad strategy to choose because we do see that Jaedong is going a very early 3-hatch build, it looks like, and so this could work out for him just fine. He's not going to have that early Ling pressure. He knows that, seeing what's come out from Flash, and he is going to complete the wall now, so even if Lings were to be on the way shortly, he's going to have that Ling-tight wall, which he can just stand and put a couple Marines behind, or if he's going some sort of SK Terran-type build, he'll have plenty of Marines behind it to defend against any early Ling pressure, so definitely a solid strategy, and he got a drone kill with this SCV, and that is un-Jaedong-like, very un-Jaedong-like there, and so 4GG already getting a drone kill, almost got one, but this drone got an SCV, so they're now equal in terms of drone SCV losses there, and this is going to be interesting. I wonder what 4GG is going to go for after this. I mean, usually an early expo is very indicative of a Terran going for some sort of SK-type Terran build, especially since we haven't seen if he's gone gas yet. I really can't tell, but on the mini-map, it looks like he might have. I really don't know. But if he has, then this is indeed a mech build, and we're going to be seeing maybe a lot more temple play than we expected, because the Terran can use the siege tanks just like the lurkers can for the splash damage on those temples, and that really is a big deal. It really, really is.
Well, that or the possibility of doing a vulture drop, that actually seems to be very popular in this map. Of course, what's his face? Fantasy managed to revolutionize for about one day his build, and it worked very well against 4GG. I mean, sorry, against GG play. Now, the thing is, I think that was really unfortunate for the Terran player here, 4GG, that he got scouted, that the gas was spotted, because look at Jaedong. He's adapting perfectly now. He's going to put down a Hydralisk Den and probably go for a couple of Hydralisks before he turns to Lair. And we'll see what 4GG decides to do. I mean, the standard is to go mass Goliaths, and the fact that he's got 2 gas is actually very interesting. He's got his second gas so early, 4GG does, so maybe rates? It could be something insane. Flash actually beat Jaedong once, now that I remember it, on Katrina with like 4 starport rates, and he actually got the second gas really, really early in a very, very infamous game played during an All-Stars event. And you know, maybe, just maybe, Flash was like, go for 4 starport rates and said that to 4GG's ear. I don't know, because otherwise I don't see necessarily a great reason to go for the second gas that early.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. That's very, very rare to go for a gas that early. We do see the very early army and a second factory, so this is going to be just a straight-up mech build. So perhaps he's going for a more tank-heavy build than usual. Obviously going to be supporting that with Goliath and probably upgrades. And as you saw, Jaedong is getting a very, very early Hydralisk going. Maybe he was preparing for something like this on the map. I don't know if that's exactly what he's going for. Maybe he's going to try to put some early pressure down, but a bunker goes down behind the wall, and this again is what I'm talking about. These players have probably played against each other so much that was just really out of the dark, he put down a bunker in preparation for something like this. I don't believe he saw that with a scout or anything. And it looks like the supply actually might go down because he's only able to repair with one SCV. And if these get in, it could cause a little bit of a nuisance at his expansion, especially since he's going to lose a couple supply depots here. But now we see the tanks starting to come out, and I assume that that first upgrade is going to be siege mode. At least that's what I would believe he's going for. And now he's losing a couple SCVs, and he's having some more pressure on his second supply depot at that wall. But I think once the siege mode is done, the reign of terror with these Hydralisks will be over, and he'll be able to move into more of a late game. And from there, we're just going to really have to see where Jaedong's going with this build. If he's indeed going to go for some sort of lurker build, if he's going to go mass Hydras. A lot of the time, the response to mech is going to be either mass Mutalisk or a mixture of Hydra, Ling, and some Mutalisk. I mean, really, all Zerg players have a different way of dealing with this, but it looks like Jaedong's going to go for the offensive hatcheries, which really is good against mech.
And you know, yeah, he is expanding up there at the upper right. That is a very smart move, of course. Against mech, you want to out-expand the Terran, and you want to prevent him from taking expansions because the Terran is relatively immobile with a large Goliath force. But you know, 4GG has, interesting enough, chosen to get a number of tanks, which leads me to be a little bit suspicious of his ability to go anti-air. I mean, the thing is, he used a lot of, you know, he didn't get a lot of minerals, or as much as he would have, because he put down 2 armories, he got a really early second gas, so he got a lot of gas, but he doesn't seem to have the number of Goliaths he should at this point, and Jaedong's going to have 9 Mutalisks morphing in pretty soon in the next minute or so, and it doesn't seem like there's anti-air. Well, there's 4 Goliaths now, but Jaedong, obviously with his macro and micro abilities, is gonna be able to do a lot of damage here with his mutas, and really it looks like Jaedong is spreading all around the map. 4GG did this against Flash on the same map, and 4GG, I'm sorry, GG Play did that to Flash, and Flash got demolished just by being completely out-expanded. So we'll see what happens here. Not sure if Charon Boosters is about done or not, but here we go. This is going to be a really good Mutalisk Caress, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. He does have a small number of Goliaths right now. He does have the Charon boosters going up right now, as you explained, and the eBay is about 3/4 finished, it looked like. I think what Jaedong is going for right now is just a massive Mutalisk, which tends to be very difficult for Terran to deal with. And as you can see, all the tanks being picked off as well. SCV is going down, and this is not the kind of play that you want to do with Jaedong. Jaedong will do this dance all night long, man. He loves doing this, and I gotta say, man, the double upgrades is nice, but that put him behind in terms of gas and in terms of being able to, in just production, really. I mean, gas probably wasn't even a deal because he went such early gas, but now he's having to deal with Jaedong Mutalisks, which we both know, and all of you watching probably know, that this is a horrible thing to have to deal with. Look at all these SCVs going down. God. I don't even know if Jaedong's lost a Mutalisk yet. I haven't seen one die yet, so this is extremely bad position for 4GG, or, for 4GG to be in. So I really gotta say, this is not the kind of position he wanted to get into to begin with, and now it looks like he's moving to ground forces. We aren't going to see mass Mutalisk, but just mass Hydralisk, and that's probably why he focused on some of those tanks earlier on in his Mutalisk attack.
Yeah, I mean, Jaedong yet to lose one Mutalisk yet, and this is another problem with this. Okay, never mind. I was just going to say, there's no science facility, so why would you want to get 2 armories and get stuck with upgrades at level 1 after you're done? But he is going to get that level 2 up. He eventually, 4GG will have a big upgrade advantage, but it's yet to be seen whether he can live that long to gain any benefit from it, because he's lost 20 SCVs maybe from the Hydralisks and the Mutalisks combined, and I really like the fact that Jaedong didn't go straight Mutalisks, nor did he just have his Hydralisk protecting his base like most Zergs would do, you know, try to protect against some kind of vulture sneak or something. He attacked with them. And that forced 4GG to get tanks more than he wanted, perhaps, and you know, also cost him a couple of SCVs. And now losing more SCVs, 4GG just he can't do it. His bases are too spread out right now for him to defend with just one force of Goliaths, and we're seeing just a complete inability to do that right now. So he's in huge trouble in this game just because of his loss of SCVs. I mean, he should be able to do a powerful mid-game attack with his Terran mech strategy, but he's not able to because, you know, he's just been stuck in his base without enough anti-air.
Yeah, and this is the problem, is Jaedong's just going to keep this pressure with the Mutalisks going, and really, he's going to be stuck in his base, and Jaedong's just going to take the map and gather up so many Hydralisks, or whatever he chooses to go. I assume he's going for Hydralisks at this point, and what that means is he's going to have those upgrades rolling, he's going to be equal in upgrades, he's going to have the map advantage, and as Mech, like you said earlier, you just don't have that mobility, the mobility to be able to take out these Expos with ease. It really is a lot more difficult than say if you were going Marine Medic style, which the Zerg adjusts a lot differently to. And even though we are seeing a lot of units coming out of 4GG, the problem with this is that he's stuck in his base, and Jaedong is just taking more and more map control as the game goes on, and he's only getting more and more units and more upgrades, and as that goes on, Terran is just not going to be able to keep up at some point. Even if you were to lose the next battle, Jaedong is going to be able to reinforce so quickly, and he's going to have the upgrades he needs to be able to fight this. And I have to say, Hive Tech already down for Jaedong in a Defiler Mound. So, I mean, Jaedong's ahead in tech, and just everything just looks so much better for Jaedong at this moment. I really don't know where 4GG can go with this. He's going to have to do some damage very shortly, though. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if these armories are spinning or not, even. I assume they are, just the graphics aren't good enough for me to be able to see them on this quality video, but I assume he is getting double upgrades still. But Jaedong right now is mining out of 5 hatcheries. 4 gas, I believe. Yes, 4 gas. He has 4 gas. And that means a ton of Ultralisks are going to come eventually, too. So 4GG better get moving here, or else he is going to suffer the same exact fate as Flash did against GG Play just 1 season ago in the OSL, knocked out by GG Play. You know, basically this is turning out to be quite similar to that game where Flash also chose to go for a strong mid-game push, but he just was constantly delayed by Mutalisks, and by the time he decided to push out, it was too late. GG Play had expanded too many times and just got too much of an economic advantage. I mean, the Terran can come back from a significant economic disadvantage, but they can't come up against... whoa, second Spire also for Jaedong. Well, I guess he's going to go mass mutas, evidently, because he does have the gas for that, so I guess he's going to go for a tremendous, I mean, absolutely insane amount of Mutalisks, or he's built that Spire accidentally, but hopefully he didn't, and we're going to see some crazy, you know, double upgrades going up on the mutas. And now he's breaking the back of 4GG's base. 4GG sieging up a ton of tanks, though, so he should be able to, you know, defend temporarily at least, but he's going to defend 2 fronts now.
Yeah, and I think this is exactly what Jaedong wanted him to do. As you can see, Jaedong's already got consumed down, and he's going to be able to move right into the front without there being any tanks there. And if he's able to do that, he gets his swarms down in time, he does the economic damage he needs, and even if he loses his army, he's going to have to react in so little amount of time that Jaedong will be able to go right up the back again. So this has exactly been Jaedong's game the entire time. Jaedong has really been forming this game into what he wants it to be. The whole time Jaedong's run this game in the direction that he needs it to go. And as you said, there was the second Spire going up, which makes me believe that we're going to see maybe a follow-up of mass mutas. I don't know if that's the case, but usually that's what it means. Or he could just be going for double upgrades at the same time. Who knows exactly what's going on. But holy shit, Jaedong's got to be close to maxed out by now. This is just an incredible amount of units. And now it looks like Jaedong's going to make his push in.
Lurkers.
And I think that is a lot and a lot of tanks, but some swarms going down, just not in the right spots though, losing quite a few units. Jaedong actually throwing away quite a few units here. I don't know if that's exactly what he intended to do. In fact, I know it's not what he wanted it to do. So I still don't know if it matters though, as Jaedong has just got so many units and the ability to recreate them so quickly that I think this is probably going to be over in the next couple minutes if 4GG decides to push out anymore, which I assume he probably would. Jaedong is just going to make his move as soon as he unsieges and probably punish him for that.
Yeah, Jaedong with a Lurker Defiler combination is going to be almost invulnerable to those tanks or to the Goliaths. Obviously, like we quizzed the commentator idol contestants a while ago, you cannot, you cannot damage one Lurker underneath a Dark Swarm. With a couple nearby, you might be able to get them with Splash, but that's it. So just one Lurker could stop this entire Metal Force from 4GG. Now, 4GG is pushing out, though. He's managed to kill the lurkers that were burrowed there without any Dark Swarm on top of them, and he needs to at least take out. I think he shouldn't even go for the expansions. Actually, I think he needs to take out the main. That's the only chance he's going to have, because Jaedong is going to be able to do. If he takes out an expansion, he's just going to be able to get a million Mutalisks or a million Ultras or a million whatever. Whatever he wants, he can get a million of. And right now, the only chance he has is to go for the main. But anyway, looks like another 2 good Dark Swarms here. Bunch of lurkers being burned underneath. They're within range of the tanks. And oh, yeah, finally we see the results of that. Tanks just getting destroyed. And right now, I think 4GG might be down to just 5 tanks now at the core of his force. He still has not been able to advance at all. He also does not have any science vessels or irradiate. So when the mass Mutalisks do come, which I hope they do, because that'll be interesting to watch, he's not going to be able to irradiate them either.
Yeah, I think the number you were looking for there is over 9,000 is what Jaedong can make of whatever unit he wants, simply because he has map control. Look at the whole map is green. I think he owns every single expansion that is available on this map except for the min-onlys, and that is just ridiculous, man. He can just keep recreating units until this force is dead and until 4GG is out of money. I think this has really been a lopsided game the whole time, even though you do see 4GG making a little bit of headway in terms of getting to those temples. It's way too little, way too late. I mean, Jaedong, something's got to be coming that we're just not seeing here. Maybe he's just playing around at this point, and he's just throwing Hydralisks, Lurkers, and Swarm up in there and trying to just diminish this army down. But really, he could go every single base Mutalisks at this point, and I think I just saw a Muta out of the corner of my eye there, and this might mean that we are going to see mass Mutalisk. Here we go, finally the Mutalisk coming into one location. As you can see, they're just pouring out of every single egg all over the map, and this is going to finish off 4GG, no doubt. There was some Goliaths, but definitely not enough to deal with a pure Mutalisk force, and look at how many Mutas are already out on the map for Jaedong. I mean, that is just the little amount of time he started making them, so this is going... Oh, 4GG trying to get his other expansion going here and hold some ground, but this is not going to fly at all. Look at that heavy tank army. No Goliaths to defend. There's like 6 or 7 Goliaths versus an entire force of Mutalisks. This is going to be over very shortly. He's having to unsiege and move down and away from these, but that's just, again, way too late. And Jaedong now, I think, is going for the dagger in the heart. This should be over very shortly. He's probably just going to go straight for the main. I doubt at this point he even needs to go for the expansion. As you can see, losing all of these tanks to just an immense amount of Mutalisks, and Burrow now being utilized, so he doesn't even lose any ecos. Like he even mattered, he could lose that entire base and it wouldn't matter. At this point, 4GG is just playing to try to make himself not look so bad, but I think the longer he stays, the worse it is. And as you can see, the shake of the head, that always means the players think they've lost at that point. And trust me, 4GG, you have lost, my man.
Yeah, Jaedong really showing how Zerg Mutalisks are actually very, very effective, even in the late game, if Terran doesn't have their main anti-Mutalisk weapon, which is the Irradiate. And without Irradiate, it's hard to deal with that many Mutas, especially with Goliaths. And, you know, if you just have Goliaths and you've allowed Jaedong or another Zerg player to get this many resources, Goliaths aren't even cost-effective against this many Mutalisks. Well, I mean, they are cost-effective, but I guess the point is just a couple of them aren't going to do anything. They're just going to get melted. And you know, the thing is, I think the fatal mistake, other than playing Jaedong and leaving Lake Half Oz or Hwasan Oz, whatever, for GG, was that he didn't go for any early game harassment. He was unable to, but still, he had to do something, like go for a vulture drop, man, do something to Jaedong. At that very, very end, we saw a little bit of vulture harassment, but that was just way too little, way too late. Looks like 4GG is just sending out some tanks to fight sunken colonies, but the Mutas are just going to go over there, and yeah, this is going to happen. They're just going to have to just die.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. I'm waiting for Jaedong to infest a command center any time now. Where is the Queens? I want to see the finale here, but I doubt he's going to do that, as Jaedong is usually a pretty good-mannered player. But this is just over, man. I don't know what 4GG is trying to do. I mean, That is so many
Distance
Mutalisks.
mine.
What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, this is over, man. Leave the games. At least have a little bit of pride, man. I mean, this is just horrible. Right now, moving some more Hydralisks down, finishing off the army with his main amount of Mutalisks that we saw. This is over, man. 4GG, leave. All GG for you. GG. Anytime now. Come on, man. There we go. GG. Finally coming out of 4GG, man. Again, like you said, playing against Jaedong is rough, man, but he just sat in his base way too long, and he chose a strategy that really is Jaedong's style, which is the early Muta harassment, and there's very few people on the face of this planet that can deal with Jaedong's Muta harass.
And this shows you, for all the Zergs out there who keep complaining about Terran Mech, that Terran Mech is by no means unbeatable. You don't even necessarily have to beat Jaedong. As you can tell, Jaedong, of course, had beautiful Mutalisk micro, but the strategy is flawed in that if you can come up with the right counter strategy like Jaedong did, you don't even necessarily need the best micro in the world to be able to beat even a 14 command center into Mech, which is certainly very powerful. Jaedong, of course, used the right strategy and the right tactics. You know, he attacked with the Hydralisk. I can't emphasize enough how important that was. He managed to kill off the SCVs, repairing the front. That slowed down the timing of the Goliaths. Had 4GG had maybe 4 or 5 more Goliaths when the Mutalisk first came and Charon booster done, I don't think Jaedong would have been able to do nearly as much damage as he did with his Mutalisks. And it looks like we have moved on right now to the next game. Jaedong, for the 3rd game in a row, is going to be facing Luxury. Luxury, of course, has gone very, very far. He's gone into the MSL finals. I won't tell you who if he managed to win or not against Jangbi, but you should go check it out. It will be on Biotech if it's not already up already. But he had to beat a couple of Zergs to get there also, including Zero. And on the other side, in the OSL, he managed to get very far before getting knocked out also. So, I mean, right now, this is going to be Luxury's biggest test, I think, in terms of a Zerg. Obviously, he hasn't had to play Jaedong recently. In the past, when he's played Jaedong, I've only seen Luxury lose. So this is just going to be interesting to see whether he has a shot here or not. And he needs to start saving his team, basically, because I think if Jaedong wins this, then he's going to go against Flash. And Flash has been a little bit chokesy recently. He's been a little bit, well, you know, overall against everybody, he's good. But against Jaedong, he hasn't really played that great as of their latest confrontations.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if anybody is curious, this right here would be the best Zerg vs. Zerg matchup you could ever ask for on the face of this planet that we call Earth. Really, Luxury is considered one of the best Zerg vs. Zerg players in practice. Perhaps not on the actual TV screen, but definitely in practice, he is considered one of the best Zerg vs. Zerg players. And of course, Jaedong, as we were saying earlier, being the best Zerg vs. Zerg player, most likely that most people would consider. And, I mean, really, if you're looking for a great Zerg vs. Zerg matchup, this would be it. I can't say that this is... I mean, I know Jaedong is an excellent player, but I think if any time, Luxury has been successful lately, and this is the one time that he can step up and give KTF a good chance at this matchup. Right now, Jaedong is just slaughtering his opponents. I mean, really, the last 2 games, the first one was a little bit closer, obviously, but the second one there was just a complete slaughterhouse. And this game, I'd expect to be very close. Another Zerg vs. Zerg, of course, so... If anything, I think that Luxury will give him an insanely excellent game. But here we go. I didn't catch which map they were playing on, unfortunately. Maybe you can help us out with that, caller, if you saw anything.
I'm actually not sure either, but we're going to find out in just about a second. ZVZ, and it's going to be on, looks like that, it looks like Chipeng Ryung to me. So, yeah, it is Chipeng Ryung. So, we're going to be seeing, yes, you're right, statistically, Luxury is second in the world to Jaedong. And, of course, in practice, his nickname is also Practice, he is second best. You know, nobody is better than him, I would say. Jaedong at the upper right in yellow, and Luxury in the bottom left in red. This is a two-player map, of course, and you know, the thing is, there are a couple of new Zergs actually who are very good at ZVZ who I want to see battle Jaedong. I did get to see Effort fighting him, and Effort temporarily before that game had a better statistical record than Jaedong did in ZVZ, but Jaedong made sure he was just kicked in the face, and it was actually a really good game, but he was still kicked in the face in the end, and Jaedong took back the statistical lead. And the other good player in ZVZ is Hades, otherwise known as Great, from Samson Khan, who is a Zerg vs. Zerg sniper. He's also about 69%, 68% ZVZ. Jaedong is at like 70% probably. Doesn't even matter. Statistics don't matter. He is the best. I mean, he comes back from situations that he's not supposed to come back from, and if you aren't ahead by the mid game, you're gonna lose. I don't think anyone is even in the same league as he is with his Mutalisk and Scourge play. You know, even Luxury, I don't think is in the same league, as we just saw demonstrated violently in Game 1. So I still think, you know, in this game, Luxury is going to need to come up with an early advantage, either through build order or some kind of fortuitous Zergling attack to have a chance of winning.
Yeah, and just so I know, so I don't screw this up, with my colors here, we do have Jaedong in the upper right and Luxury in the bottom left. Am I correct?
Yeah,
okay,
Jaedong,
good. All right.
hatching.
Okay, so we do have Jaedong 12 hatching, where I saw an early pool. I couldn't tell. It looks like an early pool. 12 pool coming out of Luxury. So that's a little bit earlier than, of course, Jaedong's is going to be with the 12 hatch, but still should be in plenty of time. But as you can see now, Luxury is going to throw down his hatchery. So Luxury was playing a little bit more safe in terms of getting his pool up earlier, just in case Jaedong is going to do anything fancy. But I think anyone should expect Jaedong to be doing 12 hatch out of anyone. Really, he loves to do this build simply because of what Caller was saying earlier. His Mutalisk Micro is on another level compared to every other player that plays Zerg. I mean, no one can touch his Zerg versus Scourge Micro. It really, he's just, I've said this in another video of mine, he was mentioning about the practice he had to go through to get to his Mutalisk Micro, and that was really, really scary right there. I don't know what that was.
KTF mascot's molesting the KTF girl? What is that? Is that you? What the hell?
Wait, is that?
The KTF mascot is so disgusting. He is such a weirdo. Anyway, looks like, I don't know who that was, but it said all kill next to it, like that person's gonna kill everyone in the room from his face. But anyway, looks like Luxury knows what's going on. He's just moved the Overlord in. He's seen the bad news. I mean, 12 pool against 12 hatch, especially when 12 hatch is an expansion build, is not that great. But looks like Jaedong almost lost a drone, however he doesn't. And Luxury, like you know, as you can see here, Jaedong has lings out just in time, and it's going to be way enough lings to take care of these initial lings from Luxury. And Jaedong, of course, will be able to produce more lings also. So Luxury, having expanded himself, is going to have to face a possible big counter with mass lings here. And that's one option Jaedong can go for if he doesn't want to go air first. And look at this. Luxury, even though he's behind on economy, has to put down a creep colony as natural. Jaedong doesn't. So the one thing that Luxury has going for him is the fact he went lair first. He is going to have his tech out faster. But, you know, I actually haven't seen Jaedong go 12 hatch very often. I think Luxury was hoping just to match Jaedong, or maybe even catch Jaedong go 9 pool or something like that with his 12 pool build. I actually haven't seen Jaedong do 12 hatch. I think Savior likes 12 hatch a lot, but it's too bad that Luxury didn't go for something faster, because he might have been able to finish Jaedong off. But right now it seems that he's not even going to be that far ahead of Jaedong in terms of his Spire timing either.
Well, it looks like Jaedong has just gotten his massive lings and speed now, and he's attacking the front. There is a sunken colony there, but that is way too many lings to deal with. And it looks like this game could already be over. Jaedong getting in a few more lings, reinforcing for Luxury. But this is plenty of lings for Jaedong, and this could be over very early, folks. This hatchery, if anything, might go down. Luxury trying to micro his way out of this, but Jaedong just reinforcing more and more Zerglings coming down the middle of the map as we speak. Jaedong can really afford to be aggressive because he did get that early economic advantage, not having to put down the creep colony and getting his hatchery up quicker. And this is just all facing towards Jaedong having the advantage yet again in another Zerg vs. Zerg. Go figure. Now Luxury having to make a lot of Zerglings to try to counter this mass ling by Jaedong and hopefully not lose his hatchery. But right now he's not even able to utilize it because he's having to defend against this. Finally getting enough lings to defend against Jaedong's attack. But Jaedong with this his Spire up now, and this is going to get deadly. Who is going to be able to out-micro who? I think we know the answer to that question, but we're just going to have to wait and see who's going to go for what. Are we going to see Overlord sniping? We're going to see straight mutas. We don't know. In the first Zerg vs. Zerg we watched, we saw more of the Ovi sniping going on from Hoja, and then Jaedong choosing to just go straight Mutalist. But at this point, there's a lot of Lings out, so he's probably just going to go straight Muta and try to micro his way into yet another Zerg vs. Zerg victory.
And Jaedong pulling the backdoor move there. Once Luxury moved out, he brought his Lings into his base, and nobody is better at taking apart Zerg bases than Jaedong is. He is so good with his Lings inside of a base, and he's going to take down so many drones, and Luxury's frontal attack utterly fails. Jaedong is there with his Mutalisks. Luxury playing for his team, but he can just GG right now. Game's over. His Scourge, obviously, we didn't get to see what happened, but obviously they didn't succeed in killing all the Mutas from Jaedong, and Jaedong has a considerable amount now, probably 5 or 6, and he's just going to continue reinforcing and then just win this game. I mean, Luxury had one chance there. Maybe if he somehow killed. Oh man, he runs past the Mutalisks, and now they're probably all going to get killed. Those Scourge are. Well, actually, yeah, it looks like. Oh, actually, he managed to land a couple, but I still don't think that's going to be enough. He just suffered way too much damage, and Luxury now is completely undefended in his base, and Jaedong with 2 gas and just every advantage. GG coming from Luxury. Wow, Jaedong just steamrolling through KTF.
Yeah, man, oh my god. Could we see Jaedong just all kill this team? I don't know, but right now he is on a freaking roll. What did you expect? I mean, really, as we were explaining strategies earlier, Hwasong Oz chose to bring out the big guns first, and that's actually paying off as he is just slaughtering player after player right now, and KTF's morale, I should say, is really just going down. It's got to be 3-0 now for Hwasong Oz just from Jaedong alone, and this is just really turning into a nightmare for KTF. They should be pulling out their big guns now. I think Flash should be up next.
Big gun.
Yeah, their big gun, really. Should be coming out shortly, and if anybody is going to be able to take down Jaedong, it's got to be Flash, although, like you said earlier, Cholera, Flash has not had the most recent success against Jaedong or against a few other players for that matter, so we're going to move into the next game shortly and see if he's able to dethrone this craziness that is Jaedong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Flash has not had the best luck, as you're saying, against Jaedong. I'm currently trying to figure out when they last played, and it seems like it was not too long ago. You know, Flash is just... He managed to beat Jaedong several times. Actually, no, he managed to beat Jaedong once in the Lost Saga MSL, actually. Right, they played in the... Group of Death, where Jaedong got eliminated, and Flash didn't. So that's actually to his credit. And in the Winners League, he evidently beat Jaedong also in Sin Chipong Ryung. But before that, they were basically exchanging games back and forth. You know, and it's always hard to say who is better. Jaedong beat Flash in the GomTV MSL a while ago, and before that, Flash managed to beat Jaedong in the GomTV Invitational. So in the Bacchus OSL afterwards, Flash beat Jaedong again. But, you know, it's just basically they trade games. But I gotta say, Jaedong is going into this the stronger player as of now. Flash, of course, is the machine, as I like to call him, the Terran machine. He shows no emotion. But, you know, Jaedong is the force of nature, is what I like to compare him to. Just an angry wind god who just has this, you know, divine wind, I guess, of Zerglings and Scourge and Mutalisk. Everything about him is just fluid motion and destruction, whereas Flash is like the Clockwork Orange who just builds and builds and is this giant robotic machine, like Terminator-like thing that kills you. But, you know, the machine against the force of nature, this is going to be a good game no matter what. And it looks like, we should have mentioned, it's on Rush Hour 3, which is good for Flash.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, one thing to mention about the emotion there is Flash actually recently, a lot of people have been criticizing him, especially for his Terran vs. Terran play, where he lost to Fantasy earlier on, where he 14 CC'd on Coliseum 2. Yeah, and he lost to Lita as well. And he lost to Fantasy in like a really quick bunker rush, which completely destroyed him. He was actually crying on stage, or it looked like he was crying. And there's Flash. Fight, live, accountability show, and I didn't catch the last one. But it was
What?
something. I don't know what it was. But anyways, if anyone can take down Jaedong, it should be Flash still. He's obviously, everyone calls him the prodigy Terran. Being so young and doing so well already, I can only see a bright future on his horizon. But really, we just got to see what's going on. And that sign I think you were talking about earlier, Caller, was actually Jaedong, and it says all kill next to it. So I think someone's hoping for a Jaedong all kill, which very well could happen at the rate he's going right now. We're just going to have to see. Rush Hour is a very interesting map, and it is very nice for Terran, so we're just going to have to see how this plays out, and if Jaedong's able to take down Flash. And if he is, I think this is all but over for KTF.
Well, I mean, we'll see what they do. I mean, is Flash going to play standard, or is he going to play creative? Jaedong's going to have to react to what Flash does a little bit, because Flash is a very, very high caliber player. He's much better than in all honesty, than 4GG is, I think, overall against Jaedong. I mean, even though statistically, or at least in the matchups, 4GG has beaten Jaedong in a best of 5, and he beat him 3-0 too, which is very incredible. But that was, I think, with tons of practice and preparation and just figuring out exactly what Jaedong was going to do, which clearly he showed that he, without that preparation in Game 2, we saw that he was unable to handle Jaedong. So I think Flash has a better chance than anyone on his team. Of course, he is the best player on their team, so but he is still a very solid player when he plays solidly, when he plays conservatively, and he plays his standard one racks into command center, and then goes Medic Marine. He is solid, and it looks like he is going to be doing that, I think, since, yeah, it looks like he is going to be building a command center. He hasn't built gas or anything like that, so, he's going to be going for a fast expand. Jaedong looks like he was going for that traditional 3-hatch opening, so it's going to be standard versus standard here, which, both, really play to both players' strengths. Both players can play a solid TVZ game, one of the S-class TVZ games, and it's going to be perhaps a longer game also. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a somewhat standard game. At least that's what it appears to be so far. And that has got to be the ugliest freaking mascot I've ever seen in my life,
put the hat
man.
back on.
Jeez. Oh, man, that is disgusting. Anyways, like you were saying earlier, this is really going to come down to just consistent play. And, of course, Jaedong on a roll. I mean, and we're seeing an early gas, actually. So are we going to see are we going to see an early command center into tech, or mech more like? That would be
early
interesting.
Academy. I don't know.
Yeah, he could go early academy, as this is a very good map for early pressure on the Zerg's expansion, as you can go from 2 different directions, and it makes it very difficult for Zerg to place their sunken colonies in just the right position where they can cover their ramp and their hatchery and cover both of the areas that you can flank from. So interestingly enough, we're going to have to see where he goes with this. We do see a very early eBay going down, which usually hints at extremely early upgrades. That's the only thing I can think of for putting down this early of an eBay. So we will indeed see some Marine Medic with an early Academy out of Flash. So something not so standard out of Flash. I mean, we do see this from time to time, but definitely not the standard opening when you go early command center, but it is a very, very good build for this map, and I think this actually would be a very good decision for Flash to use a strategy like this, maybe catch Jaedong off guard just a teeny bit, and as you can see, Jaedong already starting his lair up right now. But anyways, I was saying you just want to catch him off guard, and since he's such a strong, just mechanical player, if he can do that and then just use his play to his advantage, he should be able to beat Jaedong. But again, man, Jaedong is just a strong player and is good at coming back from really hard situations. So we're just going to have to see how this plays out, man. I really don't know where this is going to go.
Yeah, Flash actually used this same type of build against Jaedong the last time they met. Now that I remember, they played on Sinchapong Ryung, and that was the game where Flash also went for a hidden engineering bay in the corner of his base and got that super early +1 attack, which gave him so much more power with a mid-game push. Basically, Jaedong was unable to do his characteristic massive amount of damage with his Mutalisks, and instead, Flash was able to do you know, just it was able to kill off the Mutalisk pretty easily and then go for a great timing attack before Jaedong could get any lurkers out. So, you know, right now we're seeing Jaedong trying to compensate. Well, he's going to put up an expansion at the left side. It's totally hidden, but it's also very vulnerable. If Flash sees this, it's probably going to go down very soon. And, you know, right now Jaedong is just kind of taking a risk there, kind of. Basically, he is taking quite a risk that Flash won't scout it because it's going to be very hard to defend. Flash right now is going to probably be expecting Mutalisk coming very soon, obviously, and he should have perfect timing with his turrets, given that he has scans out. And he obviously usually builds them at exactly the right moment, so that when the Mutas come, the turrets are up just that second.
Yeah, and one thing to note about this build, as you get those early upgrades and the early medics out, you're able to put pressure on the Zerg, and so you're able to buy a little bit more time to get your turrets up, to get your defense down in your base so that you can deal with these Jaedong Mutalisks. Right now, as you can see, he's moving out, forcing Jaedong to morph some of these Sunkens, or one of the Sunkens, or one of the creep colonies into a Sunken. Sorry, geez, that's what I was looking for. One Link did get a complete scout off on what is going on in Flash's base, so that could be very nice. And as you said, this little ninja hatchery over here, sometimes these make the difference in a game. Really, he thinks right now he's just running off of 2 hatch, but indeed he's going to be running off of 3 hatch full operation very soon. And the mutas are out now. Flash is out on the map, looking around, seeing what's going on, but Jaedong now going to bring his Mutalisk over to that group of Marine medics. And is he going to go up the ramp to see this hatchery? I don't know. It looks like he's not going to. He's going back to his main to defend against these Mutalisks and these Lings that are coming in right now. This is not looking good for Flash. He's already letting these Mutalisks get in, and there's not a lot of turrets down right now. So Jaedong can really go to town on top of this ramp, which he's doing. And this is looking extremely bad for Flash already. Oh my god, Flash is... I mean, not a lot to say. Flash just didn't look like he was in a good position, but he was able to push those Mutalisks away, surprisingly. I actually thought that Jaedong was going to be able to do a lot more damage than he did on that particular attack. What do you think, Cholera?
Oh, I'm sorry, my mute was accidentally on there, but I'm not sure if Flash had his +1 attack finished yet at that moment. Perhaps he did, and that's why they were able to kill off so many Mutalisks, those Marines were. But Flash is actually, you know, I don't know if he's... did he just see... I don't think he's seen that left side expansion, because otherwise he would have probably gone to take it out by now. So he's still in the dark, and wow, he doesn't have anything in that bunker either. That's going to be a problem. He might actually lose that second gas. That's going to be really annoying for him. And, you know, certainly it's going to delay his mass science vessel strategy a little bit. Flash right now looks like he's trying to scout around with his SCVs. He has to conserve his scans also for the lurkers that he should be anticipating, and that will be coming, but it does look like he's sending out an expeditionary force on the right side. Does he spot it? If he spots it and takes it out, then he will have a big advantage in this game. But if this situation continues where Jaedong is just allowed to pick up gas and minerals from there, he's going to eventually just fall way behind, and you don't want to fall way behind at any given point against Jaedong.
Definitely, and I don't know what is going on in the top left-hand corner on the minimap. I see something. I don't know if it's a hatchery, but I think it is. It looks like on the minimap it is a hatchery. As you can see, the creep just popped out. So another hatchery going in the upper left for Jaedong. And if Flash can catch onto this early enough and not let these get operational and not let the minerals and the gas start to pour in for Jaedong, he might have that good advantage that he needs to take Jaedong out. But right now he's not doing any damage. He's not being aggressive, as he's having to stay at home because of these Mutalisks, and because of that, Jaedong is able to start taking all these different hatcheries on the map. And I mean, really, when Zerg gets up to that 4 gas type area, they can really start moving up to Hive Tech and putting a ton of really powerful units into them. And hold that thought here, we have a lot of lurkers and lings moving up now, along with these Mutalisks. The vessel is out, but Flash now having to stay back even further because lurkers are now out on the map. So really, Jaedong doing a great job putting the pressure on Flash, and the vessel goes down early. That is huge, Cholera. That is really huge. And Irradiate did go off before they died, getting a couple Mutalisks, but man, this is not looking good for Flash at all.
Yeah, I mean, Jaedong showing his TVZ is impeccable. When he wants to play a standard TVZ, he can do it also. And wow, just look at this. Flash getting eaten apart here. Even though he is spreading his Marines pretty well, I don't think he's going to win this battle. And oh no, he does win the battle. Wow, very close though. All the Mutalisks die, but most of the Medic Marine die also. However, I think Flash actually, I would call that a victory for Flash. Very close there. Both players just choosing the stick and fight despite the obviously high amount of danger to each other's units. I mean, basically both of them were risking a lot of expensive units there in the battle, but I think Flash's Medic Marine are just more cost effective than all those Mutalisks were. So right now we are going to see Flash making an attack, I think. He really needs to go for an attack soon though, because otherwise, like we've been saying, Jaedong is just way too far ahead. And Flash looks like he was trying to scout at that position at the lower right, and he misses that scout. Oh man, Flash, some poor micro here. Oh no, it was Jaedong. Brilliant, stacking two lurkers on top of each other, and now picking off another vessel, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's just awesome how well he's managed to do against this SK Terran, which usually Flash rolls over Zergs with. And Flash there just caught off guard with the double lurker instead of one lurker, so his Marines just got eaten alive by those spines.
Yeah, Flash desperately trying to get out of his base and do some damage here. He knows he needs to, and now Jaedong just taking such map superiority. The vessels are helping Flash move out of the map, or at least out of his base, that is. But Jaedong doing such a good job delaying that. Now he's on Hive Tech. He's got 3 extra expansions up and running, and this is going to be bad. I mean, Hive Tech's going to be coming from Jaedong any moment now, either Defiler or Ultralisk. We don't know yet, but once that comes, Jaedong's going to be able to support that force over and over again, and another vessel being picked off by Jaedong, and this is starting to look bad for Flash. Flash now sees this Expo and is moving up to kill it, so the Ninja Hatchery from the very beginning has been discovered and is now probably going to go down. Jaedong trying to defend against it, but now Flash is up on the high ground and he will be able to pick this hatchery off, it looks like, and that will at least be one bit of good news for him. And now he just needs to move up to the top left, and this might be an even game again, although, like I said, I think Jaedong had that running long enough that he might have been able to get the gas out that he needed to move up to Hive Tech and start to do the real damage that Terran is so scared of. And there we go. Defilers are on the way.
Yeah, I mean, he has also that upper left expansion, like you're saying. I don't know how Flash's scouting is this game. Has he been able to spot it? I think he should know it's there, though. I think he did send the SCV somewhere there, near there. And I think, well, I'm pretty sure he would have known by now. So he is probably going to start to try to hunt that down. If he can get that down, that'll be a huge boon. Looks like a lurker just decided he didn't want to fight. A pacifist lurker there. And actually, Jaedong has 4 bases. Sorry, I didn't notice this one in the near position here. Flash going towards this base, and Jaedong is absolutely fine in terms of economy. 4 base, Zerg is fine against 2 base Terran, and I didn't know he had this extra base. And Flash right now is going to be facing a very important Dark Swarm there. Flash might just aim for the hatchery, though. He is going to aim for the hatchery, and those Medic Marine just destroy, absolutely demolish that hatchery. So Flash right now is taking down another expansion, and because of all these bridges on this map, he can just run from one base to another, killing stuff off, and looks like he is going to be going for the upper left right now. I think, yeah, you can get there directly just by walking over there. It's the 3rd main base. So Flash expanding again and going for the main. I don't know. I mean, if Jaedong loses this expansion, then he is going to be in huge trouble.
Yeah, definitely, and those vessels are starting to add up now, and that's really going to make the difference in the late game. Those Irradiates taking out the Defilers, taking out the Lurkers, is really playing a huge role, but they're off on their own for a second here, and a few Scourge flying right by. Are they going to catch those vessels? It looks like they just missed them, at least I think they did. They're now heading back. They're not showing, yeah, they did indeed miss them, and now if Flash is able to take out this final expansion, he's really going to be in such a powerful position as he's got his 3rd just about to go down now, and once that gets up and operational, I think he's going to have the upper hand in this match, and really doing an excellent job with managing this large amount of Marines and Medics. He had a little bit of trouble in the beginning, but now it's starting to look good for him, as he's starting to take more and more map control as the game goes on. So really, I have to say, if one person has the advantage at this point in time, I would definitely say Flash. About 5 minutes ago, I would have said Jaedong, but definitely I think the tides have turned in this game.
Yeah, they have, but I mean, Flash is still finding it, just surprisingly hard there for Flash to get up that ramp, and he lost a number of Medic Marines. He is very, very good, but right now, Jaedong does have what he needs. He has the full complement of Lurkers, Lings, and Defilers, which, Savior invented, but certainly all the good Zergs, and Jaedong certainly being the best Zerg, all know very well nowadays against Terran. And here it looks like, oh man, Jaedong taking out another 2 science vessels. I mean, Flash has been criticized for this in the past. Most Terrans, in fact, have been criticized for this in the past, losing their vessels too soon, and Flash there losing another pair of vessels. Really is not able to get that cloud out yet, and he needs that cloud. He needs to get these Defilers, importantly, and he hasn't got any of them. There's 3 Defilers there. Finally, he gets one of them, but it gets a swarm off, and that's going to prevent Flash from assaulting this base here. I actually don't know if he knows the upper left is there, because I'd expect him to go for the upper left instead of going for this one base here that he keeps attacking. But he's got 2 forces now going there. He's got a ton, an absolute ton of Medic Marine, and he's going to be able to, looks like, go for it again, and he's got, yeah, he's coming from the bottom also. This is gonna be able to take down the hatchery, I gotta feel. Looks like Jaedong, though, going for a counter at Flash. He's only got 1 lurker there, though, and I think Flash could be able to take care of it. He's gonna get the hatchery no matter what, though. Or
yeah,
not. I don't know.
A little attack finally coming in and taking out the hatchery, but a little small attack here is delaying the 3rd a bit of Flash, but Flash bringing up a large amount of Marines, a little bit of poor micro there, but he's able to clear up that 1 lurker that denied the 3rd there for a while, but the 4th is up and running for Flash now, and Flash has just got this a brilliant ability to be able to micromanage so many different armies at one time, and that really is critical in Terran Berserk, especially with this SK Terran type build that he is using. And he was able to get that hatchery, so now Jaedong is really down to his main natural and that top left, which I think has been discovered at this point. I gotta think it has been, but again, Flash not attacking it, so we can't tell. But now Flash playing a little cutesy up here on the ledge of the bottom right-hand expansion, trying to deny Jaedong to mine there. So really, Flash is doing a great job of not allowing Jaedong to mine from these, and now losing some more vessels there. 2 more vessels going down, and this is really a big deal because vessels are what Terran needs to keep fighting against these large forces late game. And now we see mines and vultures out for Flash, and he is ready for the late game. Where are the ultras? Where are the defilers? Where are all the units? He is ready for them, and I think really at this point, Flash, if he makes that attack on the top left base, I think he will have this game. It's just a matter of time at this point. Really, I mean, Jaedong's still in the game, but I gotta say Flash just looks like he has the advantage right now. Just from an observer's standpoint, he really looks strong right now. I mean, nothing else to say, just in a great position.
Yeah, I mean, Flash is absolutely in a great position. Jaedong is, I think, tied in upgrades at least. +1 attack, +2 armor. Yeah, there we go. And Flash, I think, finally, does he know about this upper left? I mean, it's utterly undefended, Flash. It looks like Jaedong going to go in with speed Hydras, Lurkers, and Lings, and actually we've seen By Hero do this in the end game also against Hwasun quite well. Wow, look at this! Flash actually might be in trouble here. A Lurker and a bunch of Hydras. It's a small force though, I gotta say. So right now it's 2 Lurkers and just a couple of Hydras. Where is Flash in the upper left? Flash is still, I gotta say, he doesn't know the upper left is there. I'm gonna have to conclude he doesn't know, because that's gotta be his aim right now. I mean, maybe he just thinks Jaedong is dead. Maybe he thinks Jaedong is just petering out right now. This is his like last-ditch attack, but it's not. I mean, Jaedong still has a full expansion with a full complement of drones up there, and if Flash doesn't discover it's there, if he doesn't ever realize it, that's going to be his doom, because Jaedong is still producing, and he's just lacking that critical information. Flash getting plagued, and these Hydras. I mean, the reason why, oh man, the reason why he got all these Hydras, why By Hero and Jaedong have gotten them is because they're actually good anti-air against the science vessels. They're like a secondary anti-air to the Scourge, and now Jaedong has gotten up this base here again at the 12.
Yeah, he's starting to get map control back, I gotta say, man. Flash definitely doesn't know about that top left expansion. If he does and he's not attacking it, then he's playing completely idiotically. But is that even a word?
Know. There's no way.
So, anyways, he doesn't know. But anyways, he's just got, it's just not looking good. Flash was looking so strong about 5 minutes ago, but now I gotta say Jaedong's starting to look like he's coming back from this.
Now he knows.
Yeah,
I
now
think he just discovered it.
he's finally
Maybe.
got it. No, maybe. I mean, his army's been chilling around that position for a long time. He just
I
hasn't
don't know.
attacked it yet. So let's just leave that alone for a while. And now the mines are starting to do a lot of damage. And
Wow.
Jaedong does
Nice.
still have looks like 3 expansions up besides his natural, which means he's still in a plenty strong position. And a lot of vessels are going down now. And this could end up being
Oh
a
my
huge
God.
deal. That was at least another 3 vessels going down for Flash.
What?
And this is not what you want to happen as a Terran. I mean, he's letting this game slip away slowly, but surely. I mean, really, if Jaedong could keep this up, he can still win this game plenty fine. With more vessels going down, these plagues with the Hydralisks are just destroying him. And I gotta say, Jaedong is looking really, really strong again. Flash equally as strong, I'd say, but I definitely had to say about 5-6 minutes ago, Flash was looking like he was about to take the game, and now I have to say this game looks perfectly even in terms of these two players.
Yeah, Flash is just mining from those 2 new expansions. Terrans can sustain themselves quite well in that, but I gotta say, with this many Hydralisks, Flash, man, you gotta stop going just SK Terran. You need to get some tanks. You know, tanks are good against this, not just science vessels. More and more science vessels. What are you gonna do? Irradiate the Hydralisks? I mean, he has actually done that a couple times already. Medic Marine are pretty good too, but right now tanks would be such a force multiplier that I'm just amazed he hasn't gone for it. I'm also amazed that he doesn't know about the upper left. He really doesn't know about the upper left. Still, he doesn't. I mean, there were a bunch of Lings that attacked his Medic Marine, and he must have just assumed they were like dropped there or just were hanging out there for a long time, because he obviously clearly does not know about it. I mean, it's so important, this one small detail. You know, maybe it's just like too obvious. He's too smart. He's thinking there's no way he has an expansion at the upper left. I've been around there the entire game. You know, I'm just gonna assume it's not there. And he's been attacking Jaedong's 12 o'clock the entire time, which has been a huge mistake, because Jaedong is just able to defend that very easily with all of his forces as he's reinforcing with his hatcheries, whereas the upper left would be nearly impossible to reinforce. Anyway, looks like Flash finally irradiates a Defiler, but right now it's all fire bats. I don't know why he's got so many fire bats. Man, right now he's losing to these Hydralisks. It just, things are not going well for him.
Oh my God, all those vessels
Oh
went
my God. Oh wow.
This is just horrible, man. Flash is letting this game slip away because he's losing vessels, he's losing units, and he's losing map control. Flash literally just let this game slip away, and now Jaedong is on the offensive at his only 2 operational expansions. And if he is able to take these out, this game is over. Like, plain and simple, there's nothing else to say. This game is going to be over. And now it is looking very bad as Jaedong is moving a rather large force of Defilers, Lings, and a lot of Hydras down, and there's just no vessels really remaining. 2 left on the map. He had about 5 or 6 2 moments ago, and now Jaedong making his attack into the expansions, and Flash really just doesn't have enough to defend. He has to lift off his expansion, move his SCVs, and now he has not got that 4th operational. This is just incredible. I can't believe that Jaedong came back from this.
Oh wow, this is just horrible for Flash, man. I mean, I gotta say, Flash, I think, needs some psychotherapy. I mean, KTF, you gotta get him a shrink. Get the kid some Prozac or something. Because, you know, give the kid some emotional support. I really think that's it. I mean, he just is having like a failure to thrive here. The kid is so smart. I mean, this is like, you ever watch that movie Finding Bobby Fischer or whatever it was called? He's Bobby Fischer, man. He's so good and he's so smart, but he's so crazy at the same time. He just needs some mental help, because I mean, obviously he should have had this game, like you were saying. He knows what it takes to win, but somehow he just loses the will to live, and he just makes these stupid mistakes. And now you see him, he's tearing up. Maybe he realizes the upper left is up. Maybe he realizes he should have won this game, and it's just obviously you play against Jaedong, and GG, you play against Jaedong, you know you're going to lose some of the games, but Flash should have won this one, and he's got to be feeling it. And congratulations to Jaedong, Oz wins! Yeah.
All kill from Jaedong, man. Oh my God, Jaedong, you are fucking Gosu, man. I just, nothing else to say. Brilliant play from him. He looked like he was going to lose, and he just took this match back into his own hands. That's what Jaedong is good at. An amazing series, really. There were some great games, and I can't believe Flash didn't win that. And I know he is thinking the exact same thing. Really nothing else to say. Jaedong, you are just an amazing Zerg player, man.
I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
That's what Flash is saying. He's wishing he was the Terminator, but he's not today. I don't know why. He's showing emotion. This is so bad for Flash. I'm sorry I'm just talking about Flash, because Flash is one of my favorite players. And I do want to see him do well and you know, go back to just tearing things up again, because I think he is, you know, one of the bright stars for the Terran race, and just entertaining to watch in general. But Flash this game getting demolished at the very end by himself, I gotta say. He lost that game. Jaedong didn't beat him so much as he just lost the game. Jaedong came back very nice. He had good defense of his expansions, but Flash just didn't win. Wow. So on the other hand, though, Jaedong certainly won the first 3 games, and you know, what can I say about that? I mean, Jaedong is, you know, the best Zerg around today, and really, if he manages to beat By Hero, he has a very solid chance of winning the OSL also, and then he would really cement himself, I think, as the best player around today.
Definitely got to agree with you. Great match overall. Really nothing else to say. Thanks again for casting with me, Cholera. This was an excellent match, and good job, Jaedong, for just completely demolishing KTF. Another all-kill for you, so becoming the all-kill hero that we all expected you to be for so long. Thanks again, guys.
All right, thank you guys, and do stay tuned for the Pro League Finals, which will be Hwasun Oz versus CJ Entis, and you know, we are definitely going to be looking forward to and probably casting it. So, so long, guys. Thanks for watching.